Hi everyone, I'm Eniko, and today I am going to share my final thoughts on Pokemon Pokopia. You guys already got my first impressions of the game in my last video, which, by the way, if you didn't watch, you should totally watch it. Although that video is absolutely irrelevant to me now because my opinion did a 360, 180, 90 degrees shift. I mean, there's a reason why Pokemon Pokopia is the best rated Pokemon game out there on Earth. I'm gonna try to kind of organize this video by first sharing my positive thoughts on the game. Whatever I'm gonna say is not gonna be in order of importance. I'm just gonna be listing things off. Starting off, the game has a story, and I like that. I just think games are more enjoyable when there's a goal or like stakes. Lots of stakes. Here, the story of the game is that humans disappeared, and I thought they died at first, but you're gonna see that they didn't actually die, or maybe they did, I don't know. Actually, they might have died. We're gonna see that later. Humans disappeared, so did Pokemons, but then suddenly they started reappearing. We have to find out what happened to humans with the help of the Pokemon we encounter. And of course we do all of that hand in hand with Professor Tangrowth, despite the fact that he doesn't really do much, but whatever. And that whole thing really got me wanting to get to the end of the game and uncover everything. We'll get back to the end of the game later. The game is divided in multiple areas. What do you want? More light? There we go. Cool. What was I saying? Oh yeah, that's right. So the game is divided in 4 different areas, and they are pretty big. In the first video, I thought that the game was only going to happen in the first area in Withered Wasteland, but no. Sorry, let me just, there we go. So the game happens in 4 different areas, which I'm pretty sure are different cities of the first Pokemon game on Game Boy, if I'm correct. And each area is, I'm pretty sure, bigger than the last, and that leads to a lot of exploration to do. I'm pretty sure there's still stuff I haven't explored in some areas, especially the last one, because I kind of rushed it so I could get to the end of the game, but I really didn't expect for exploration to be such a big part of Pokopia. And also, exploring is fun! By the way, every time you get to a new area, you pass through a door. And in my last video, I talked about a theory about how this whole thing was just a giant Pokemon survival experiment. I believe this desert we are in is actually a massive research project about Pokemon's ability to evolve and adapt to their environment. I was still firmly believing in my theory when I got to the first door, and I was shitting my pants. I was so scared. I did not want to open the door because I was fully expecting to find an evil scientist at the other side. But no, it's fine. It's just more nature and valleys. And talking about areas, each area's end is marked by your encounter with a legendary Pokemon. And when I encountered Kyogre, who is the first legendary you meet, wow. Hearing the legendary Pokemon theme for the first time, let me tell you, it was something else. The whole game soundtrack is, oh. I didn't know that was gonna happen. What? Okay, I was, what? Okay, well, turns out you can go and meet Kyogre whenever you want then, I guess. I didn't know that was gonna happen. Ditto can inhale, that's all I wrote in my notes. Ditto was really the perfect protagonist choice for this game. I mean, its whole gimmick is copying other Pokemon and learning moves from Pokemon to make creating habitats easier or exploration easier it's fun, it's original, and it works so well. Well, I was gonna say that you also learn how to jump from Magikarp, and I find that stupidly funny, but I can't find Magikarp. That thing can only, like, well, jump. It couldn't have gone very far. Well, I think Magikarp might have gotten eaten or something. That's too bad. Thanks for teaching me how to jump. I'll never forget you. Okay, you know what, let's get to the next point. I like the habitat system, and that the game actually forces you to be patient before you get to meet rare Pokemon. The game also does a really great job at getting you attached to different Pokemon, not only because they actually feel like allies, some of them will actually help you throughout the main storyline, but also because you actually get to talk to them. It's not just them saying their name over and over again. Here they talk. The dialogue you have with them isn't that far from the type of stuff that villagers will say to you in Animal Crossing New Horizons, but for some reason in Pokopia, Pokemons feel more alive. Also, when they get sad when you remove something from their habitat, it makes me cry. You know, I feel very paternal towards some of them. I definitely think Pokopia helped some people find out who their favorite Pokemon was. I like Lotad, because I like the way it walks. And going back to the dialogue, it's actually voiced, kind of. Basically, Pokemon will cry out different variants of their screams, and I find that cool. The issue I have with the main Pokemon games is the fact that they aren't voiced. Pokemon Snap on the Nintendo Switch is voiced over, but not freaking Scarlet and Violet or Legend ZA. Another good thing is you don't have to time travel because the game has a million things to do. And yes, it can be overwhelming at first, but the good thing is if there's something that takes time to get done, like a whole day even, there are so many things to do in the meantime. All right, now let's talk about things that I'm less of a fan of. The game could have definitely released on Switch 1, all right? I mean, the thing is, Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom released on the first Switch, so there isn't really a way Pokopia wouldn't have been able to release there too. The game looks good, sure, but it doesn't have graphics that the first Switch can't handle. I really just think that Nintendo is starting the definitive transition from the Switch 1 to Switch 2, and they knew Pokopia was too good not to make it a Switch 2 exclusive. For some reason, the game's graphic quality, like, severely decreases when you open a menu. The game's language can only be changed manually instead of changing according to the console's language. It's not a big deal though, I'm just nitpicking here. Running Pokopia in portable mode allows your Switch 2 to become a portable heater too, and it also perfectly imitates the sound of a plane engine. It unfortunately lasts for about an hour before the console dies. Why can we only make vegan steaks? Why are they made out of beans? Why can't I sacrifice one of my friends? Chicken. You're gonna sit here and tell me that my Charizard isn't gonna end up eating half of my Pokemon after only eating berries for 2 weeks? Why can't we share a bed with Machoke? I wish we could nickname Pokemon after a certain level of friendship. Why can't I call you useless? Like many other chill games, Pokopia is gonna make you lose track of time, and with all that there is to do, you're probably gonna end up getting burnt out after a while. So I recommend you stop playing when it feels like a chore, and then come back when you actually feel like it. And now let's get to my final complaint, which is the main storyline.
But Eniko, you said you liked it.
And I do. But there is one problem, and it's the end of it. Basically, near the end of the Withered Wasteland arc, Tangrowth is gonna call you to come and check out this lighthouse-like building, and that happens in the very beginning of the game. And that building will assign you multiple tasks to bring different items and materials to it. Basically, Tangrowth will just tell you that this building sure looks weird and we should probably bring stuff to it. And that's basically it. It's almost never mentioned again, so it really just feels like a side quest. But it turns out you only get the credit roll after you've completed all of the requests. The final items you have to bring do require you to level up each of the area's environment level to 5, which means meeting more Pokemon and improving their habitat. But they really should have made the rocket, because yes, by the way, this is what it is, they should have made it a bigger part of the story. For example, you can find human records here and there that explain what actually happened to humans. So why can't we have Tangrowth call us whenever we find something interesting and tell us, I wonder if it has anything to do with the weird building over there at the beach. Just something, anything that makes us understand that this is where the game ends. If it weren't marked as an important quest, I think I and many other players would have just disregarded it and never get the end. Alright, let's do this. Submit. Way to go! You've made it all the way through part 7 of the Team Initiation Challenge. You've got the Volcano-y badge. Anyway, what's really important is the next mission because it's the last one. Part 8 of the Team Initiation Challenge. Go get him! Wait, what? Your last task is to take a photo. You just need to take one photo and bring it here. But not just any photo. Take the kind of photo you'd want to bring with you when you go. I know exactly what I'm gonna take. I think that's a good one. Do you wish to proceed? Yes, thank you. You finally finished the entire Team Initiation Challenge. Congratulations! Here's your final reward. You got the Earth badge. You've completed the Team Initiation Challenge. Alright, with that, you're now truly one of us. This calls for celebration. A welcome party. Sorry to ask this, but could you prepare some party poppers? Submit. The delivery hatch is completely full. you weren't able to deliver the party poppers.
Hello, Wenako. I just couldn't get this building off my mind, so I came to investigate a bit more. So, how goes it? Did you learn anything about the building? No. The party poppers won't fit. Neko. Party poppers are no good if you just shut them away. Let me show you how to use them. Here, watch this. First you grab the string tied to get ready. Come on, you do it too. Yes, just like that. Alright, now let's pull the strings. Ready, set...
Emergency, emergency. We may be under attack.
What's happening? Did I do something wrong?
Initiating emergency evacuation protocol. 3, 2, 1, 0. Blast off!
It was a rocket all along. Who could have predicted that? Who? Okay,
But they
I did
really
it. I sure did it.
Yes, by the way,
I didn't predict that.
All the friends we made along the way. You know, despite all the bad stuff I said about the game, I still find it incredible. And if you're planning on getting a Switch 2, or if you already have a Switch 2, I would 100% recommend you get Pokopia. I mean, there are only like 3 Switch 2 exclusive games, so you might as well get one of them. Now about the price. If Animal Crossing New Horizons is worth $60, then Pokopia being only $10 more, I think it's pretty reasonable. And dare I say, it's kind of a steal. I mean, New Horizons plus the DLC plus the Switch 2 update is $90 overall. That is not okay. If you want Pokopia to be less than $70, then Animal Crossing New Horizons should have been like $25 and a handshake.
Do you suppose there's any chance that humans are seeing that building out there somewhere?
And there it is. Credit roll. Oh, the game it's really freaking good. I think a lot of people who are complaining about Pokopia's price are mainly people who don't already own a Switch 2. They automatically add the console's price to the game, so instead of being $70, it's $520. And I'm not gonna start getting into the topic of whether the Switch 2 is really worth $450. But once Nintendo completely shifts to the Switch 2 and more games release, I think the console is gonna become more owned, and $70 for a game like Pokopia isn't gonna be that big of a deal, I think. And there they were. The humans, they're in space. Although I wonder if they're all still alive. At first, I was a bit surprised that Pokopia was the highest rated Pokemon game, but after having played a while, I totally understand why. And also, when you see what Legends ZA and Scarlet and Violet gave us, yeah, I have very high expectations for Winds and Waves, especially considering it's a Switch 2 exclusive release. So please, Nintendo and Game Freak, you can't disappoint us after giving us this masterpiece. But yeah, these were my thoughts on Pokemon Pokopia. Please do share your yes, please do share your personal thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!